Welcome to this explainer. Let's go ahead and put on our chief architect's hats for a second, because today we're taking a really hard look at our cloud-native environments. We're going to examine exactly why Kubernetes has evolved way beyond its origins to become the absolute operational foundation behind modern application delivery. So let's dive right in and uncover what it actually takes to achieve operational excellence at scale.
We've got a great blueprint to get through today, starting with the container orchestration myth, looking at hidden operational complexity, shifting to platform thinking, layered security, observability, and finishing up with the cloud-native maturity mandate.
All right, Section 1, the container orchestration myth, debunking the deployment assumption. You know, in enterprise environments, it's incredibly easy to fall into this dangerous trap. The myth is thinking Kubernetes is just this magic tool for deploying containers and getting workload portability. And sure, it absolutely provides those advantages, but the reality? It's a comprehensive operational framework. Here's the core trade-off we always see. Kubernetes abstracts the infrastructure to increase developer speed, but that heavy lifting doesn't just disappear. It shifts directly to the platform layer. Because of that, it demands rigorous operational discipline, strict governance, and integrated security. If you're only focusing on deployment, you're completely missing the bigger picture of enterprise modernization.
Kubernetes doesn't just sit in some isolated silo. It radiates outward. It literally influences every single aspect of your enterprise tech stack. Think about it. It dictates your platform engineering efforts, redefines your security models, and completely reshapes your networking architecture. It even drives how you build your observability platforms and CI/CD pipelines. It's the beating heart of your operational scalability. So let's move right into Section 2, the hidden operational complexity and specifically the real cost of ignoring governance. When organizations adopt Kubernetes for all its power, things like self-healing systems and standardized deployments, they also inherit a massive amount of operational complexity. Suddenly, your engineering teams are burdened with managing these incredibly intricate networking models and ensuring airtight workload isolation in multi-tenant environments. You've got relentless upgrade cycles, security integration, and cluster governance to worry about. Imagine a scenario where multiple teams deploy conflicting network policies, and boom, you've suddenly got application outages across tenants. It's a massive heavy lift. If you don't have a chief architect perspective on how to design these systems, your teams are just going to drown in day-to-day operations.
As the source material points out, and this is a great quote, without strong operational foundations, Kubernetes environments quickly become difficult to manage at scale. We literally see this all the time out in the field. A company scales up to 50 clusters manually, governance gets completely ignored, and inevitably operational drift sets in. You've got one team running an outdated, vulnerable Kubernetes version, while another is using some custom, undocumented ingress controller. That lack of standardization creates massive troubleshooting nightmares and huge security inconsistencies that can entirely cripple your cloud-native transformation.
So how do we fix that? Well, that brings us to Section 3, shifting to platform thinking. We need to treat our infrastructure as a product. Listen to this. Kubernetes is the operational foundation behind modern cloud-native platforms. Notice the word platform there. The most successful organizations out there realize that Kubernetes is not just raw infrastructure you toss over the fence to your developers. Instead, you have to treat it as an internal product that's consumed by your engineering teams. It's a total fundamental shift in organizational design. And that's exactly where dedicated platform engineering teams come in. Their entire mandate: reduce engineering friction. They do this by designing paved paths, environments that automatically scale consistently and remain inherently secure. By supporting deep DevOps automation, platform teams drastically improve the developer experience. When your developers aren't wasting cycles fighting underlying Kubernetes complexity, they're actually shipping code and delivering business value. Okay, let's dive a bit deeper into one of the most critical pillars of this architecture. In Section 4, layered security and governance for multi-tenant environments. Look, security complexity ramps up significantly when you move to Kubernetes. It absolutely cannot be an afterthought. Complex, multi-tenant enterprise environments require a real defense-in-depth, layered approach. You've got to manage strict workload isolation so different teams aren't interfering with each other. That means tying identity management directly into your RBAC models, making sure a pod only has access to the exact resources it needs, nothing more. Plus, you have to implement zero-trust network policies to stop lateral movement if a container ever is compromised, all alongside robust secrets management and active runtime security. Because as your environment scales from one cluster to dozens or even hundreds, operational consistency is literally your only true defense mechanism. If you're relying on manual, artisanal configurations, human error is going to introduce vulnerabilities. It's just a fact. Standardization across your security models using GitOps or policy as code is absolutely essential to prevent severe security gaps.
Next up in our blueprint is Section 5, Observability in Distributed Systems. This is really the cure for troubleshooting complexity.
Because distributed systems inherently create distributed operational complexity. I mean, think about it. When a dynamic, self-healing system breaks at scale, how on earth do you diagnose the root cause? Services are spinning up and down across multiple nodes in milliseconds. Without a centralized, coherent way to view all that chaos, your operations team is essentially flying blind. And this is exactly why observability maturity is critical. Observability isn't just basic monitoring. It's establishing deep, comprehensive visibility across your workloads, complex networking flows, overall cluster health, resource utilization, and security events. You need this to actually understand your application's performance. And hey, this is especially vital for stateful services. If you're running databases or message queues on Kubernetes, standardizing on persistent volume monitoring and automated snapshot metrics is an absolute must. Without strong observability, troubleshooting those stateful workloads at scale is virtually impossible.
All right, let's bring it home with Section 6, the Cloud-Native Maturity Mandate, and how we transition to automation.
Scaling successfully means methodically moving away from manual cluster management. Step 1, prioritize automation. Bake it into everything you do. Step 2, enforce strong governance so your rules are actually followed automatically. Step 3, implement standardization across all your clusters to eliminate that operational drift we talked about earlier. And finally, Step 4, achieve true operational maturity. This step-by-step transition is literally what separates the organizations that struggle with Kubernetes from the ones that master it.
So, bringing this all together, the golden rule here is pretty simple. Cloud-native success is all about operational excellence at scale. It's not just about adopting a trendy new technology. Successful Kubernetes adoption depends heavily on building platforms that are operationally scalable, strictly governed, and highly automated over the long haul.
I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought as you evaluate your own cloud-native initiatives. Ask yourself, and honestly ask your teams, are you just deploying containers, or are you actually building an operationally sustainable platform? The answer to that question is going to determine your enterprise's success in the cloud-native era. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer, and keep building brilliant platforms.